My video is about the game between the Seahawks at the 49ers. And before this video is a preview of that game, but there's going to be points in this video where I actually talk about my hate or my dislike towards the Seahawks and why I dislike that team so much. Um, and by the way, before I get on to that, I added a new addition up here, a Frank Gore figurine to add up there. It's pretty cool looking. It's even got a little pylon right here. Like he's getting ready to spike the football in the end zone. Um, Even though he plays for another team, he'll still always be a 49er to us, and he'll have his number retired at Levi Stadium. I had to move all my trophies this way to make room for him, and it goes good with Montana Rice, Ronnie Lott. There's Patrick Willis back there, and then of course there's a Dwight Clark. Well, it's not actually Dwight Clark, but it's one of those ones from the '70s where you can change the jersey number to any player you want, number stickers. But anyways, let's get on to it. The 49ers, they have to come into this game and they have to, have good ball control, keep the ball away from, try to keep the ball away from, the Seattle Seahawks. Just try to keep up, move the sticks, get first downs, like a basic thing that you do in a game. And try to not don't have any turnovers. Can't have turnovers against that team. Another thing you can't do is you can't, have penalties and turnovers and all those things together, because they'll make you pay. They will make you pay if you do those things. On defense, we have to do a better job dealing with Russell Wilson. I know that's no easy task because he's very good. He's very elusive. Doesn't run as much as he used to, but he still is effective. And one thing you have to do when you're dealing with Russell Wilson, like if you bring up pressure up the middle, what he'll do is he'll swing out to either the left or the right. And if he finds an opening on any of those edges, he will run through it and pick up a first down and a lot of yards. I saw him do that last week. But that's what he does. When you bring that pressure up middle, he'll either roll out to the right or left and run for a first down and more yards. So gotta watch those corners. Gotta watch those two ends. Where he likes to run around through, because when he does that, that's when he becomes very dangerous. And we have to limit the mistakes. You can't make mistakes against this team. They'll make you pay. You saw that 2 weeks ago. And one of the things it's important is we have to beat this team because it's a matter of pride. We have lost to these guys the last 10 games. If you go all the way back to the NFC Championship game of the 2013 season, that NFC Championship game, they've won 10 in a row on us. And if they win tomorrow, that'll be 11. Now, with all our history, all our being a storied franchise, all our history and legacy and all that's been great with our past and our history. We cannot continue to let Seattle make fools of us. There's just too much pride behind this, and I think that I know that some of the Seahawks have been players. What was his name? Was it a guy named Fred or Frank Clark? I can't remember him, but he was popping off with the mouth this week talking about um, Richard Sherman, about what Richard Sherman said in the beginning of the season about the Seahawks lost their way, and now he's talking all this trash all week. Figures. I mean, it just it's going to be, and then of course, but an upsets are possible. I mean, if you think about it, upsets are possible because excuse me, last week, we pulled off an upset against Denver. And that wasn't supposed to, we weren't supposed to win that game, but we did. We won the game, and uh, you know part of that motivation was because of the death of Jed York's brother. And maybe they'll take that motivation into this game, and maybe also maybe I know that on the Murphy and Mac show, um, Kyle Shanahan was talking about how he's sick about hearing about how the Seahawks beat the 49ers so many times, and the last 10 times, and that they would like to change that. And, I don't know, I forget how the whole interview was, but he was talking about that, and I'm sure he might use that to motivate his team tomorrow. Um, so we'll see what happens with that. Now, the second half of the video, I want to talk about how much I dislike the Seattle Seahawks. I can't tell you, when I think about this rivalry and how it's been these past years, I just cannot stand that team. Now, I have friends at where I work. I live in the Portland, Oregon area, and I have friends at work that are Seattle Seahawk fans. Okay, I live in the Northwest, so I know guys in the workplace that are Seahawk fans, and they're good friends. I mean, they don't like my team, I don't like theirs. I mean, but we get along. We're good work friends. Um, but yeah, I don't like the Seahawks because when you look back at that, they've been basically a thorn, a monkey. They've been a thorn in our side and a monkey on our back for all these years. I'm getting tired of losing to them. I'm getting tired of them making fools of us. It's like the Thanksgiving game. I think it was back in I think it was back in 2013 season. Um, there was the Thanksgiving game, and the Seahawks beat the 49ers very convincingly in that game, the Thanksgiving game, and the Seahawks set up their feast table, or Richard Sherman and Russell Wilson, they set up their feast table at midfield, and I forgive Richard Sherman now because he's no longer a Seahawk; he's a 49er now. And they set up this table, and there's Russell Wilson with him, and they're feasting on their turkey, eating on our logo at midfield. I mean, the Seahawks though deny that it was their idea. They say it was the NBC team or crew that came up with that idea. But I just felt that was disrespectful. And then there was the and then there was the and then there was the uh, Russell Wilson commercial, where I guess it was a couple of years ago, where you see him running for a touchdown or something like that, and you see all these 49er players on roller skates missing tackles, and Russell Wilson walks right into the end zone. I mean, that's just a swipe. That's just a slap in our face right there. Another thing too is him throwing Fred Warner's shoe last week, or no, 2 weeks ago, and I guess he did it to cause a penalty against the 49ers. I think he knew exactly what he was doing, and then there was too many men on the field or something. There was some confusion with that, and we get a penalty. That was pretty shrewd of him, but that's why I cannot stand this team. That's why I cannot stand them. And I hope we do beat them tomorrow. I mean, there's no guarantees that that's going to happen. But I got to tell you, I do not like that team. Pete Carroll on the sidelines with his gum. Yeah, I just hope we beat them tomorrow. It's going to be it's a tough team. Obviously they're good. Um, and you know what? I don't know if they're going to clinch a playoff spot if they win tomorrow. Man, I do not want it to happen at Levi Stadium. We've never beaten them at Levi Stadium. Do you know that? We have never beaten them since we moved into Levi Stadium. We've never beaten them there. Another reason to dislike them. And all you Seahawk fans saying, "Oh, you're just being a whiner. You're just being sour grapes." Well, hey, if some of you are old enough to remember, there was a time when the Denver Broncos owned when you guys were in the AFC West. There was a time when the Denver Broncos pretty much owned that division. They were in the Super Bowl a lot from 1986 up into the late 1990s. They pretty much dominated that division. They were in the Super Bowl a lot, the playoffs a lot of divisional titles. They were in the Super Bowl a lot, and they won a couple of Super Bowls in the 90s. I mean, and I know you guys absolutely hated Denver and you hated Elway's smile, right? Am I right? So you got to realize that's kind of how we feel about you guys. I mean, it's only natural. If you get beat by a team and dominated by a team for so many years, do you expect us to love you for it? No, no. And you call us 40 whiners? Well, if you've been through what we've been through and being victimized by officials in some of these games, you too would be whining. I mean, all we ask for is fairness, from the officials, and we don't get that much. But we've been through some frustrating times, so you got to kind of understand where we're coming from when we say we don't like you. Another thing that bothers me about the Seahawks, I live here in the Northwest. I live in the Northwest, but I live in the Portland, Oregon area, and I know it's Northwest and everything, but they act here like it's the Seahawks are their team. How the heck are they our team here? I mean, we're Portland. We're not Seattle. We're Portland, and we're not even the state of Washington. We're Oregon, and yet they try to make it look like this is their team. Maybe it's because they're so damn cheap up here. They could have had a football team here in the Portland area, and nobody wanted to build money for a stadium, so the team ended up moving to Seattle. And now they say, well, we can't afford a stadium, but we'll say that the Seahawks up north are our team too. And you go into a department store here, or you go into a Walmart, Target, the mall, Seahawks. But I just hope we beat that freaking team tomorrow. I mean, there's no guarantees that we will. I mean, if our team doesn't play well, we're going to get humiliated. They're going to trounce all over us and probably even do something in the game to antagonize the home crowd and do something to make us look bad. I just know the way this team is. I think what it is that even though they've won a Super Bowl and they've dominated us for so many years, they in fact are jealous of this. They're jealous of this. Look at all those rings and trophies. The Seahawks will never have that. They have one trophy, but they will never have this behind me. I can tell you that right now. And I know I'm going to take a lot of flack for this video. I know a lot of you Seahawk fans out here to see this video are going to probably end up trolling on me. But, hey, I'm just speaking from my own feelings about this whole thing. It is a rivalry, and that's just the way it is. What do you expect? You expect me to love your team for you guys beating us so many times? I can't stand the Seahawks, but it is what it is. This rivalry is what it is, and I just hope that 49ers, we do get a win tomorrow. To tell you the truth, I like I said in past videos, I believe that when two teams take the field, the objective is to win. Some people want to play for that first round pick, or lose to get that first round pick. But I think that to me, when two teams take the field, the objective is to win, and I want to win. But if we're not to win any of our last, if there's some games, these last three remaining games, if we lose, if we were to lose any, the one game I don't want to lose to is Seattle, because we got to end that streak. We got to end it, and so that's all. That's all I want to say in the video. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Um, so that's it. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll do a video tomorrow about the aftermath of that game, whether it be a win or defeat. Um, we'll see what happens, but that's the end of the video, and that's the end of this video. So I'll talk to you, everybody, later tomorrow. All right, everybody, take care.